Shirt show. All right, let's go.
Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Shirt man! All right! Episode 195 of Shirt Show! We're talking with Brittany from No Pressure Printing in Pennsylvania. Let's go!
Hey, babe.
Hey, babe. Kind of late here because I got carried away talking to Frank.
Oh.
And yeah, he sends his love to everyone, and
Is he doing all right?
he's doing okay. You know, he had physical therapy, and it's no fun. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like with what I'm going through right now too, physical therapy, and it's to make you do stuff that hurts. He has one of those chairs that they delivered to his house. And I guess you have to, he had the surgery here. And so you put your arm in it, and he has to do this. He told me he has to do this 3 hours a day. So 3 times a day for an hour. And you put your arm in it, and then it raises it like a couple degrees every day, like it does this kind of thing for you, just to force the movement, and he says it hurts.
Yeah.
But it's day 8. He's still, the wounds are still healing, and
Sounds wonderful.
but he's a man. Like
Fuck yeah.
he's ready to,
I can't remember. I think we had talked about this before. I can't remember the commercial, but what was it where like the dude's at the fast food place or whatever, and he's got like a full arm cast, like all the way up to the shoulder, and he can't reach into his one pocket to get out his change or something, and he like fucking crushes the cast in his arm, just so he can reach in and get the money
That's
out of his
Frank.
pocket or whatever. I was like,
Yeah.
that's Frank 100%.
that is Frank. Yeah. He's just like, it's frustrating, because personalities like Frank, and I guess me and you, and I don't know, a lot of people
Just want to get back to it. You
that
can't sit still.
they just want to do stuff, and it's hard when you can't. And so it's hard. I think I've always said this, it's harder mentally. It's more challenging mentally than it is physically, really, because you can tolerate the pain,
Yeah.
but the mental part is the struggle. So anyway, cheers to Frank in his continued recovery.
Love you,
And
bud.
we love him, and we definitely will see him and Roselle in Chicago at our spring break.
Yep. Hell
Yeah.
yeah. So we were having a discussion a little bit in Mild Boys this morning about how it's on the ramp up.
Oh, yeah.
You feeling it?
Yeah, we're feeling it for sure. Like, big time. So, and it sounds like some other shops are also. Maybe it's a thing. Stephen, what did he say a few weeks ago? Just that something about February.
Basically, all the sales in February are the second half of February.
Most of February happens in the second half. Yeah. Most of it. And so it sure is true for us right now. And thank gosh.
Gosh. Look at ever say gosh.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good one. It's a good word.
Yeah. Well, thanks. Yeah. It feels really good. We have a couple of large orders in here right now that are taking up press time, and we're letting all this other stuff just pile up. And it's so wonderful, because when you're slow, what happens here, and probably at your shop too, or a lot of shops, is that the shirts come in, they get checked in, and Kyle's waiting for them as the last shirt gets put in the box and check in, and then takes it to press and it prints, and then we're done. Wait, where's the next order? Hurry, check in the next order. And so
that's always the worst too, because it's like they just want to feed the machine, but there's still the normal turnaround for a reason, because it takes time to get blanks in, get the artwork approved, get everything ready to go. Yeah. And when you're a production manager and you're just I just want to get these jobs done, you still have to wait for that process. Can't do anything about it.
Yeah. You train, and then you work every day as a production manager. And if you have the mind like Kyle does, his mind is get shit done. And it's very hard to shift to, hey, go slow. What do we what are we doing here? You know, and so
slow
and
down.
you got to shift back to getting shit done again. And so, you know, it feels good though, and I hope everyone who's listening right now also is feeling well. By the time this comes out, it's March. Yeah, but you know, hope everyone's feeling the bip up. The bip up.
The up bip.
Yeah, the up bip. I like that. Okay. Do you remember when we were talking about, I don't know, was it on an episode or was it on an SNL that I said that somebody was printing a hoodie over the pockets and
spraying
they spray
the pockets
tacked.
in? Yeah.
Okay. So check this out. So Multicraft Daddy, he texts me and says, hey, I saw the show and we actually have a product from Techmar and it's starch-based adhesive. And so you spray it in that pocket, sticks it down, and it's not like glue or, you know, chemical-based glue. It's starch-based. And so it just washes right out.
Just cut a potato in half and scrub it in there.
Exactly. That's what that is. Exactly.
Right.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Just a Yukon Gold cut in half that you scrub inside your hoodie pockets.
There's a dude here that, and this is real.
Is this X-rated?
This is not, I'm not making this up. No.
Something he does with potatoes?
Yeah. So the first time I saw this was on Super Bowl Sunday. We came in and we were printing, and for energy, he eats a raw potato.
Oh,
so like he doesn't, no time, but yeah, he doesn't peel it. Like
just straight biting it like an apple.
Yes. That's it's exactly the analogy I said. It's kind of like an apple because it sounded like that when he bit it.
Was it like a red potato?
No, it's like a Yukon Gold.
You don't even eat the skins on that shit.
No, he just ate the whole thing.
Yeah, like he's a serial killer. Yeah, he wears people's skin for sure.
He was just now we
dude, that's gross.
Now at the snack bar we got to keep potatoes over there. Just raw potatoes. It's way better than potato chips. Potato chips cost way more. You know, like this is actually, it works out.
Plus it's healthier, you know, the fried aspect to the potato. All that
What's
salt.
Healthier? You mean just the raw potato?
Just eating a raw potato like a crazy person.
Yeah, right. And then he's got all the starch he needs, like for a while, you know.
He bites it, he rubs it on a hoodie, bites it. No offense, Phil. What a fucking idiot.
Yeah. Hey, it's probably, so you remember the movie Martian with Matt Damon?
The Martian, yeah. Where he grows potatoes in the shit. Yeah.
Yeah. So he survives off of just only potatoes and actually
cooks them.
Does he cook them? I guess.
He microwaves them.
Okay, well, so what? Like my point is that it's healthy. It's probably very healthy.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably going to live to be like 300 or something.
Yeah.
You know, and here we are laughing at him.
That's true.
He'll be laughing. He's the one. He's the one that's laughing. But yeah, so they have if anyone's wondering, they have a starch-based adhesive that you can spray on the hoodie, apparently, inside the pocket, hold it down, run it through the dryer, good to go. Smart. The world is smart, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
It impresses me.
I can't wait to see the potato killer of St. Louis in the fucking newspaper like a month or two.
He doesn't kill potatoes, he eats them. But you're saying that he'll be known as that because...
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because he leaves a potato on his victims. Yeah,
like maybe the last bite. Or the bite
he's gonna get caught. He's gonna get caught from the dental record of a fucking raw potato.
Ooh, smart.
Yeah, I should do like the CSI thing. Like,
yeah. I wish if I didn't do this, it would have been great to be like a CSI, like undercover,
like a forensics person.
Like just not like too sciencey, but just figuring out crimes, like investigating crimes and trying to find like because like you get wrapped up in it, and I'd be like, you have the charts with the pins and the strings.
I don't think that's real life, but yeah.
You're trying to solve the crimes, you know?
Mhm.
And then you do. It'd be so fun. Yeah. I don't know. Justice.
Is that what you really would want to do if you weren't a screen printer? Like, what's your real thing?
Be maybe a hairdresser, you know?
Come on,
nice.
real. Or is that real?
That's a real nice job. Yeah, it's fun. That'd be a nice, fun job.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
That'd be fun to be like a rock star, wouldn't it? Be good.
Yeah. A lot of people crash and burn at that. I've always thought it would be fun to be a roadie, like to set up stadiums and stuff.
Oh yeah,
just like huge shows, just setting
like
up
go on tour,
rigging and stuff. Yeah. I probably would have joined the military and just like been a career military person.
Well, you could have retired from the military
NASA
after a bit and then become a CSI.
Right. With you.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah. Why can't I think of the name of one of your favorite TV shows? And we watched it and it still works today. It's kind of like CSI, but X-Files. Yeah, you could have been an X-File investigator.
Mm-hmm.
That's no, come on. That's what you'd really want to do.
Oh, for sure. I would have been Project Blue Book. I would have been taking that shit over for sure.
There you go. So we would have merged. Like I would have helped with the pins and the strings.
Throwing pencils in the ceiling.
Would have been a good team. It's
funny that you bring that up because I'm making a hoodie today for myself that just says Scully, it's me on it.
I don't know what it plays on, if it's FX or something, some channel we sometimes get.
It's on Hulu.
And Hulu, well, I think came across whatever, and we watched a few episodes just randomly in a marathon or something. Mm-hmm. And this is from whenever it was, 20 something years ago. Mm-hmm. And it's good. It's
wonderful. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it works. Like sometimes you say, oh, this is too old, doesn't work anymore.
It's fantastic. It plays into the creepiness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does. Mm-hmm. True to that. Hey, we did this a couple times ago, and I think we should do it again because it did feel good getting a lot of love. And so we should pause here and give everyone a chance.
Moment of silence.
Just give everyone a chance to, hit the like button because, this is free, this podcast for everyone. And all we require is for you to like it.
Yeah,
or we ask, I should say.
The funny thing, I was thinking about this in the car the other day, and I was like, what would be cool is if you're listening to this right now or you're watching it, like take a picture. If you're like listening to it in the shop or whatever, take a picture of what you're currently printing and tag us on like an Instagram story or whatever social platform.
That's a good idea.
And like, I'm listening to the show and I'm printing this because I want to see. I want to see your shop. I want to see your printing.
Yeah, me too.
If you're in your car, show me how fast you're going.
Or if you happen to be eating a potato, then take a picture of eating a raw potato and send it to us. That'd be kind of cool too. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm down with that.
I'm down with it. Anything else before we talk about our buds? Is that it? I don't know.
No, we have a new bud today to talk about.
We do. It all starts with the screen, and whether it's new stretches or restretches, Frank and his team do it the best. To find out more, go to graphicscreenfashion.com.
Whoa. What is going on?
I'm just kind of shaken up or choked up about the whole thing, for this whole Frank thing.
Mm-hmm.
FFFFF.
Rank.com.
Or
greatfuckingscreens.com. The greatest fucking screens.
And the greatest man.
For sure. I can't believe you.
I can't believe I messed that up. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, Frank. I didn't mean to do that. Cleaning screens is no fun, but EasyWay makes it way more funner. Their line of eco-friendly chemicals will make reclaiming screens a whole lot easier. Check them out at easyway.com. EasyWay.
It's the easiest way, baby.
Did it right. I got that one right.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you. GraphX is the source for production-ready digital art and remote art staffing. Go to graphicsource.com to learn more about what they can offer and let them run your art department so you can focus on running your
business into the stratosphere.
You
like that?
To the moon.
Yeah. I've been thinking more and more about remote workers, not in the sense of like, fuck these people, let me get somebody for cheaper, but more for the fact of having a team specialized in something that I can rely on basically at all times. Like as a help. Like graphic source is cool just because like it's a whole team of people that can handle it. You know what I mean? Like if one person's having trouble, they can have help from someone else in their thing. You know what I mean? Like it's a whole thing.
I think
it's not just one dude in an office.
You're saying just looking for
like it was fun. Like this is a side thing on this, and I saw this on like a reel or something on Instagram the other day where it was like someone said they went to the dentist office, and instead of the dentist having like office staff, he literally had a fucking iMac turned around where it was like a VA from like overseas that like checked somebody in. Like just like webcam person sitting there being like, yeah, I can do this or whatever. And it's just funny because it was like, I feel like that's where shit's headed. Not that I want to be there, but I'm just saying like more and more remote.
Funny you bring up dentist. I don't know why you keep bringing this up.
Probably because it's on my mind because you're grilling me so hard.
It was brought up on SNL. And I think it was brought up this morning because that's where I went this morning. I had a dentist appointment, my 6th month cleaning, and it was absolute torture, by the way.
I figured it would have been.
And it's...
what did they tell you needed?
Nothing.
Be honest. Don't fucking bullshit me. They were like, oh, we got to pull this. We got to fucking fill this. This is going to be $6,000 here. We got to do a gum scraping or some bullshit.
No, I did have a filling that has partially come out, and so we have to put it back in. I could feel it. No, it was already there. In fact, I'm the one who said, "Hey, check on this. I got this filling." I think that,
and they saw dollar signs as soon as you said that.
They're really nice people, and
I'm sure they are. But they also run a business, and they get paid.
I told them about you. I did. They're like, he probably eats potatoes raw or something. Choosing the right emulsion for your shop is complicated, and that's why we love Chromaline. Go to chromaline.com to watch Kev's vids or contact him on IG at the Emulsion Guru and get the answers you
deserve.
If you're not using DTF or screen print transfers, you like that? In your shop, you are doing it wrong. We have partnered with Howard Custom Transfers to get you the transfers you need fast. Check them out at howardct.org.
I just like saying org.
You almost got it. It was close.
Thanks. Drum roll.
Hey, yeah, drum roll. We both have used SNS from the beginning, and it's our go-to here at SureKong. It's our go-to #1 distributor, and it's not because of price, although they are really well priced. For us, it's a relationship. It always is. And
100%, yeah. I don't want to steal your thing, but
go.
I feel the exact same way. Like Mike, my rep, comes in, fucking usually it's like a high five, handshake, whatever. He's like, hey, fuck face, what are you up to? Comes in, sits on my couch. We probably don't talk about shirts for like the first 20 minutes. You know what I mean? Sits down, bullshits. He's like, you're easy. What do you need? Tell me if you need anything at all. And I'm like, dude, I'm good. Or I'm like, hey, we got a lot of call for people wanting independent, or we got a lot of call for this or whatever. He's like, I'll send you some samples. Tell me what you need, and I'm like, cool. He's like, I'll work on your pricing. I'll send you over a new price sheet. I got it like an hour later. It's like, that's what I want, dude. Like, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a guy to come in or a girl to come in and say, what the fuck can I help you with? Shoot the shit with me. On your way. And that's where it's at.
Yeah. And I think that so we print on t-shirts every single day. And so you have to, that's a relationship, isn't it? And so, we have that relationship with SNS. And I think that We don't always we can send in for a quote. Like, let's say we have 1,000 shirts or whatever. It's like, hey, can you give me a quote on this? And they'll see what they can do and maybe tighten up the price. But I don't always ask because, I get it. Like, I hate when people always ask for us to do better pricing. So why do I have to ask the distributor? I don't think that's fair. So I like it when I don't beat up any of my suppliers or whatever you want to call it. I'm always like, what's your price? Okay, cool. And I feel like I get better service, and that's what I'm looking for. And so they partnered with us at our summer camp. That's the first time we've ever done anything with them for a shirt show. Yep. And they provided a lot of the merch, not all of it, but a lot of it. Gildan had, gave us some of the other stuff. But and then we were talking to them, and they were going to partner with us for spring break, this camp coming up here in a couple of months. And now, it's we actually got married, I guess.
Yeah, they wanted to help out the show. Yeah, they're just good people. And also, like, not to knock either, but like SNS has always been our go-to because of the relationship, but also like there's so much less mess ups.
True.
A lot less like just random shit missing or a box not showing up or whatever, or a box coming that's exploded and all over the place.
Correct. So,
anyway, they joined the show and we're happy to have them.
That's right. So we're planning some neat stuff. More to come. We'll talk again soon.
Yes. Hey.
Yeah.
Love you.
Love you too.
What we got today?
Today we are talking shop with Brittany Dannenberg from No Pressure Printing in Myerstown,
Pennsylvania.
How'd you fucking know?
I'm just smart. Yeah.
You knew that city?
Hi.
What's up? How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. What's up?
Nothing much. Also, you were right. Pennsylvania. Yes. That's where I am. Myerstown.
Yeah. Where in PA are you?
Near Reading, if you know where that is. Like,
kind of.
Like,
okay.
Southeastern.
Pennsylvania is a rectangle. Where in that rectangle are you?
Southeast.
Are you to the north? Southeast?
Near Philly. I'm near Philly.
Oh, okay. That's all you had to say, near Philly.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Perfect.
Do either of you watch It's Always Sunny?
No.
No.
Well, you should, especially because it takes place in Philly. But
I should.
There's this one bit they do where Charlie doesn't understand that he thinks there's one city in every state.
And so I remember this. Yeah, I've seen
it was like, he's talking about Pittsburgh or something. It's like, well, if you're in Pittsburgh, you're in Philadelphia, right? They're arguing,
That's so funny. I grew up right outside of Pittsburgh, and then I moved across the state. So, yeah.
Do you like it there?
Where I am right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right. It's pretty slow here, but I kind of like that. So,
yeah, me too.
It's not for everybody, for sure. But
dude, I'm all for that slow life right now, especially.
I said the same thing today to Joanne in the car. I'm like, I got to get out of this big city. I need something smaller. There was so much traffic. Yeah. We're just trying to get to the dentist and we're just traffic jam after traffic jam. And it was stressful.
The only traffic here is from like Amish buggies. I'm not even joking. Like that is what causes traffic here.
Yeah, they do for real though.
They do.
We have a lot of them here, and I see them at the lake all the time, like fishing, and they have like the buggy and everything. There's a lot of signs around here too that are like the horse and buggy, like watch out, basically, like don't drive too fast. But we were talking about this the other day. Like it's been really warm here, like freakishly warm. And me and Brian and Bill went for a walk at the lake, and we were talking about small town vibes versus like the city. And when you go for a hike or a walk here, it's like everybody you pass is like, like, hi, how are you? Like, how's your day? Whatever. And as soon as you get into a populated area, everyone's like, don't fucking talk to me. Like, I can't wave. I'm just going to look at the ground. And I hate that. Like, it literally pisses me off. Like, it's like, I'm like in the middle of nowhere passing you as another human being, and you can't acknowledge that I exist for like 1 second.
It's about self-preservation. It's about when you're in big cities, when you make eye contact, that could be a problem. And so, you just
it could be this. It could be the potato killer.
It could be.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. She has no idea what I'm talking about.
I have no idea.
But it sounded. But it sounds like a real killer.
Right. Exactly.
It could be.
So tell us a little bit about you. You kind of have like a a good mix of how you got to where you are, from what I understand.
Yeah, I have like a pretty diverse background as far as screen printing. Like I pulled my first squeegee in like 2014, 2015 at Millersville University. So I started there.
Can I ask you a quick question about that though?
Yeah.
I'm in the process now of, and I don't know if BOCES is like a thing all over the place or if it's just here. But it's like that get out of high school basically and you go like learn a trade or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in talks with them right now of like creating a screen printing department or like a printmaking department there. So like kids can go learn how to do this. Cause we don't have that. Like I didn't grow up with like a screen printing class. Like we talked to so many people that are like, oh, I did it in high school or I did it in college, whatever. Like that's just not around here. Like it's not at our community college, whatever. So I was like, I really want to do this. Like I bet I could get people to donate like, you know, presses and dryers and everything else. How was the program? Like, was it super basic? Was it like kind of lame, but it was printing? Like, give me a crash course on like how it was.
Sure. It was, so the department was all different types of printmaking. So like offset, we had litho, pad printing, and then screen printing. So it was bare bones, but it wasn't like we had to go, you know, order our screens bare bones. Like we had a place where we stretched the screens and we had a washout booth in a dark room and we coded and stuff like that. But yeah, like it was basic, but everything that we needed.
That's cool.
Yeah. And that just reminded me, I was talking to someone too, not that long ago. She wants to start up screen printing as like a VOTEC class because they have all the equipment, but nobody to teach it. Right. So she wants to teach it, but she doesn't know how to do it. So I told her she can come to my shop and I would teach her how to do it so that she can do that. But I think that's great. Yeah. But yeah, it's pretty good.
I just think like in my career, I'm at that point now where I kind of want to like have fun with it in a sense of like, I do the show and whatever for fun, but like I'm about to build a house and I kind of want to build like an extra part of the garage where I just do like paper printing. Like I want to print posters like at home for fun, but I'm like, I also would be cool if it was like one day a week or whatever. I went and taught a class at like BOCES and was like teaching kids how to like do the whole process. I think it would be awesome. Yeah. Plus like selfishly, so cool. If I was the professor or the person teaching or whatever, that I could just steal them when they graduate and be like, come work in my shop and I could pick and choose the good ones.
Yeah, that would be so cool. That's something I want to do like down the road. Like if someday, you know, when I have arthritis in my hands from this and I can't do it anymore, I want to teach it because I just love it so much. I love talking about it. So that's the after this kind of thing. So
I think though that it should be bare bones. I think it should be basic equipment because, you know, that's what I learned on. And I think if you struggle with that equipment and you learn from the very beginning, I think it's probably better than, you know, like let's say that the class had, you know, started on an auto or something. I like the idea of starting with the manual that even maybe doesn't even have registration on it or something. You know what I mean? Just so you know, you can appreciate then like, oh, wow, I really appreciate this micro reg all of a sudden. So much better. Mm-hmm. You know,
I think it would be cool to like, even if it was like a week of the class or something was like the oldest of the old school way of like making a screen, and then it goes to the next like iteration, and then it's
you mean like cutting ruby
yeah, like cut ruby lith, and then the next one is like capillary film and like all this other stuff. Like go through the whole thing again, just like you said, so that in the end they can appreciate that they can fucking like print a film on an inkjet printer, or they can do like a laser or something. Like they know.
One of my classes, they showed us like the old school print separation, like films for, I honestly don't tell my old professor, but I don't remember what it's for now, but it was like the original way of doing it. And they showed us and they were like, okay, so now we're going to show you how to do this in Photoshop. Like, you know, so I totally agree with that, but
it would be cool. It's like a history class where they go through the whole thing. So anyway, I hijacked your talk. So you went to school for it. What happened after that?
Yeah. So, well, the degree itself was all different kind of stuff. Like the name of it is applied engineering with a focus, like applied engineering and technology management. So there's business classes with it too. And then with a focus in graphics. So like it gave me like all sorts of things, but I always chose to do the screen printing, like every single, like everything. I was always like, if I have a choice, I'm going to do that. But once I graduated, I actually started doing freelance graphic design because that's what I could do at the moment and I needed money. And then like a year or two of that.
Were you doing t-shirt graphics?
No, I wasn't actually. I was just doing corporate stuff because that's where the money was. Like I was doing vehicle wraps and business cards and brochures, stuff like that. And then I moved. Me and my husband moved from here actually to Westchester, Pennsylvania. And then I started working for a big company, big screen printing company there. I got a lot of experience. Within my first couple months, I was the top producer there because I just am really competitive, honestly.
In the actual manufacturing part?
Yeah. So I was on a manual press because I missed it, honestly. My father-in-law said he saw a sign that said screen printers wanted. It was actually somewhere else. And I applied there and it was a weird, like they were just, I don't know, they didn't get back to me. And then when they did, they were confused why I was calling. So anyway, and I Googled screen printing jobs because I was like, I miss it. So, and then I found like this other place and I applied there and I got a job and yeah, I was on a manual press for a while. And then they wanted me to be a lead printer. To do that, I had to learn the auto. So I was on 2 autos. For a little bit, I was on 2 at the same time.
Wait. So explain that. What did that mean?
So I would set up a job on both.
I was going to say, I know what she's going for here.
Yeah, I would
like
set
finish
up
one, go to the next one, so someone can tear down, and
both autos.
You're just going back and forth a lot.
Dude, I'm not even kidding. Like the corporate people would come. It's a really big company, and the corporate people would come in from Texas, and they would talk about like our numbers are low and all this, and I'm like, how many people do you have like per auto? And they were like, oh, just one person per auto. And I was like, okay. And then one of their techs came in and I asked him because I'm like, he's going to know and he's going to tell me the truth. And he said 3 to an auto, like someone to load, unload, and then tear down and set up and stuff. And I was like, okay, so I'm doing all of that. But yeah, so I would set up a job on both and then I would run one and then run the other. And then depending on the jobs, maybe get someone to help me load, but good experience for sure.
How long were you there?
I was there for almost 2 years, but I was supervisor by the end of it, of the floor with all the screen printing and everything. And then they ended up shutting that location down because we had 2 buildings and it was too much overhead and whatever. So they have like big plants in Texas and California. So we were the small fry, but now I'm here. So
you went
whatever.
Right from there to where you are now?
Yeah. So they shut us down and it was just one of those huge upheavals because it came out of nowhere. Like they said they were offering me the position and then literally shut us down a month later. So it was out of the blue and I needed money. And it was one of those, I needed money, but also it was like the perfect time to make a huge life change. Mm-hmm. And it was like either it's going to happen now, or in my head, it's going to happen in 20 to 30 years. Like that's where my head was at. Either I take the leap and see what happens, or I go back to the safe for now option, which is just work for someone else.
Here's the thing. And this is what I say about taking the leap and timing. And that I like to think of it this way anyway, is that you can always go back to the other thing, Mm-hmm. So like, let's say you did take this leap and it didn't work out. Well, then go get the job, what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But take your chance, like take your chance
Mm-hmm.
right now while you can. And that's what you did, which is really cool. Was that what do you think was the hardest part now that you've gone through this startup phase? What was the hardest part of like being the owner of the shop and starting it versus, being a supervisor of the floor? That's hard and it has its challenges, but like now you have like you're supervisor of the entire thing, it's all yours. Mm-hmm. And so like, what do you think was the hardest for you anyway?
Honestly, just cause it's just me right now here. going from like the fast, like I have something to do every single day. My schedule is packed every single day, even when we're slow, to there are days like when I come in and I'm just like there's nothing to do, unfortunately. Like, and I don't know what to do with myself in like those situations. So having like the mindset switch of like constantly being occupied to figuring out what to do, like in the times where there's nothing to do, I guess. I don't know. And just like lack of people. I'm a chatter. I like to chit chat and there's just like nobody here. So
it's like we were kind of talking about that a little bit earlier because we were talking about our friend Frank. And I think it's just a certain type of person who just like has to do all the time. Mm-hmm. I'm that person. Andy's that person. Sounds like you're that person. It's just like we need to be occupied with something we're passionate about all the time, or we lose our minds. Like I hate sitting home and doing nothing. Like I literally feel weird. Like I was like that yesterday. Like I left work and I was like, I have nothing to fucking do. Like I was like, I guess I'll go to Lowe's and Walmart, and I don't even like Walmart, but I was like, I don't have anything else to do.
But it's a task to complete. You get to drive there, get out of the car, go in. Like, no, I get it. That's why I'm like super into the gym right now too, because it's like a set things that I have to do. So on days like when I'm slow here, and the gym is like, I'm looking at it, it's like 2 feet away. It's on the other side of a wall. So like I know what to do when I get in there. I know what I'm going to do after. Like, so even on the days when there's nothing to do, I know that that's there. So
it's an option.
Kind of takes some of that off my shoulders of the going insane part.
What was it like working for that company, and kind of like it sounded like you were there 2 years and you kind of like blew up kind of quick from like, hey, I'm just going to run the manual to running 2 autos. Like, how was that process? Like, do you think the management was good? Do you think things were like well streamlined, or do you feel like it was kind of chaos? And then now you have the opportunity to start fresh and like do it in the way that you feel like will work well.
I think, you said it pretty much perfectly. Like I didn't know going into it, because that was my first shop that I worked in. Like I had experience before, but like that was in a classroom. Like it's not the same at all. But working in there, it was like, I went in no expectations other than printing. And then while I'm there, you pick up on things like as you go, but I don't want to say it was poorly managed. It just wasn't managed. Like, it was just like, I would go in and ask what I'm supposed to do. And it's just like, we just have to get the schedule done. But like, other than that, it wasn't planned out. And then, other than that, like, I don't know, like I just went in and did as much as I physically could during the day. Cause again, like I'm competitive and I like to do things. And then like from there, it was picked up on. And then I just kind of like worked my way up from there, I guess. I don't really know, but, like every place has its problems for sure, but.
Oh yeah. I just think that the struggle, and Andy, I'd like to hear your opinion on this too, is like, as an owner, like me and Andy with our size shops and whatever, like I feel like the hardest thing by far is people and managing people. But you also want to really reward the people who are like go-getters and people who are like super interested. Like you loved screen printing before you even worked there. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you were passionate about it. You didn't get hired there just because you were like, fuck, I need a job. And I can do this, but like, I don't give a shit about this after 5 o'clock. You know what I mean? Like, I want more of you to work here, but I also need to make sure that I'm like feeding that machine of like keeping them entertained and like engaged and passionate. But at some point, I don't know what that is. You know what I mean? You can bring them in and be like, I love you. You're amazing. I appreciate you. Here's pay, whatever. But at some point it gets to be monotonous of just like, you're running the auto, like you're just loading shirts, you're printing shirts. Like, where do they go from there? Cause like in my mind, the next thing they could do is like, okay, you're like a production manager or you're whatever, or you want to move to the art department or something, or just move around in the shop. But like, in your opinion, if they wouldn't have closed down, would you have loved to stay there? Or are you happy to be like, cool, I get to try to do this on my own now? Like, if you were still there doing what you were doing, how long do you feel like you could have done that for your career? That's my question. Is like, I want to know from you, like, what can I do to like keep someone like you like excited about being here?
Oh, that's a really good question. because I would talk to people about that, because I still talk to some of my old coworkers because like before I was their boss, like we were coworkers. And I think the biggest thing, honestly, is just and you might already do this, like I don't know how you run your shop, but when they come to you with something, just like listen, absorb it. And if you don't have like a solution right there, or you don't like their solution, then just at least listen, sympathize, and then follow up with them. Like just being heard and being not recognized in like here's a piece of paper that said you did good work for me, like kind of thing, but like in a like, I hear you, listening to you, value your opinion. Cause like we would have like me specifically, I would go to my boss and his boss when my boss wouldn't listen to me, I would go to his boss because the shop I worked at was like real corporate and had like a lot of layers. But like a lot of the times it was just like, we don't control the numbers. You just have to hit them. And it's just like, I don't like, what am I supposed to do with that? Like, I'm telling you that all of our spatulas are broken and you're talking about numbers. Like, I don't know what you want from me at that point. So then I just go back to my press and I'm pissed off. And I'm just like, I wonder how much the shop down the street is paying, but like, I probably would still be there just because at the point where I was at, I was making enough money to like live. But if I was still an operator, there's no way.
Well, you didn't love it though, by the sounds of it. It sounds like you were making enough money and you were happy in that space, but you weren't like, I fucking love this.
I wasn't loving it at the time where we left. And that's what I would like tell people now is like, if I was still there, I'd be miserable. Like, I stopped doing all my hobbies, like, cause I just was so exhausted. I was getting there an hour before I was supposed to, leaving an hour later than I was supposed to. Then they told me I can't do that because I couldn't have overtime, but they still wanted me to come in. Like, it was just, it was just a mess.
What do you think, Andy?
But I don't know. I got here after my dentist appointment this morning. First thing I did is I didn't walk straight to my office. I walked over to the end of the dryer because I knew we had something going on. I was on a phone call earlier and I wanted to see how it looked. And then after that, I walked over to our retagging department. And right now we have a very important client we're running shirts for now that's sort of it hasn't filled the void, but it maybe filled half of the void with potential of filling all of the void of one of our biggest clients that we lost. And so we're over there and it has to be like, it's probably the highest level retail we've ever done with regards to like these neck labels. And I wanted to make sure they looked really good. And so I went over there and there was 3 people working on it. And I asked them, I checked in, I was like, how's it going? And they're like, these look really good. And I looked in and I agreed, I'm like, oh my gosh, these are amazing and everything, because when you do a ton of neck labels like we've done in the past, sometimes you get in the habit of just going fast. Like, oh my God, there's piles of these things, go fast. You hope that they're straight, and all that stuff and they're placed right. But now we actually have slowed down. In fact, we met a couple of days ago and say, when this comes through, we're going to go slower than ever. Like this is, in fact, we're encouraging to go slow. You know what I'm saying? Like that's more important for this. And so we want this to really succeed. And so I don't know. I think they, without getting involved, in the too much and interfering with what they're doing and everything, I think that it's always nice because isn't it nice to hear that it looks good? Like something you're doing looks good. And so instead of going there and like, hey, when there's problems, like, oh, wait, here's the problem. What are we going to do? This is a mess. Like actually no problems. And it looked great and acknowledging that fact. And so anyway, I just kind of checked in with some people and to see how their day was going. But I don't know. I hope that matters. I hope when I walked away, they weren't like, oh, fucking asshole, like whatever, making sure this
100%
hawking in, like micromanaging me or whatever.
Yeah.
But
they're like, what, he thinks I can't get this done right in the first place? I feel like you can't win either way. Like, I mean, and
if you don't check
in, you're
conversation. Like, yeah. So, I mean, I did it with good intentions and I hope that they felt that energy, like this good intention energy. I wasn't over there. Like
the hard part, and this is again, like, I don't mean to ruffle feathers when I say this, but I feel like the generation, I don't even want to say the generation. Let me step back from that. I think that when you're an owner and you're just busy with the stress of being like trying to keep this company afloat, I'm trying to like get sales in, I'm trying to make sure everybody's happy, I'm trying to make sure everything runs. It gets to a point where you're just like, fuck, okay, cool. I've got like 3 tasks I got to do today. Like, I know that management's running. I know those people are doing their tags. I know these people are printing, whatever. You're just like, shit's running. Like, do I need to walk out there and check in with them? Do I need to fucking high five them? Do I need to like buy them food? Like, you're just like, shit's on idle. I got like 3 things I got to do today. But the problem is then they all are like, I never fucking see you. You're in your office. The door is always shut. Like, is he mad at me? Is this happening? Am I not doing a good job? Whatever. And then I get to the point too, where I'm just like you were saying, is like, I think that me appreciating you is that like I gave you a raise and I'm like, let's add new things to the shop that make your life easier. And it's like that. I always bring up this Mad Men sketch or whatever, where she comes in and she's saying something. I can't remember the whole thing. But she's saying something about her ideas, and she's like, you never say thank you. And he's like, that's what the money's for. And it's like, you know what I mean? Like, he's like, you're here, you're doing your job. You're literally getting paid to do your job. Like, do you need me to fucking like pat you on the back every 5 seconds? Like, I just need you to come in and do your thing. So like, my mentality for a long time was that of like, you're here. I'm trying so hard to make the environment as good as possible. Like, the equipment's nice, everything's clean, everybody's doing their thing. My thing is, my appreciation is, you have a job and you're getting paid well. Like, that's what I think. Well,
yeah.
Me and Andy had a talk on this at ISS in Long Beach, where once COVID hit, people reevaluated their life and they were like, what's actually important to me? Like, work-life balance is important to me, and like having a real life and appreciating my job and all these other things are important to me, not just the grind of 9 to 5, which is where we reevaluate and we're like, okay, these are real human beings that get up every day and come to the place that I created. You know, I feel like I need to take time out of my day every day now to go out. Hey, how are you doing? How's the kids? How you feeling? High fives, turn the music up, you know, like do something that's kind of, and I'm not doing this like as a like task of the day. Like, I genuinely want to hear how they are and like have fun with them. But I think more and more now, owners need to realize that that shit's important. And again, like, I don't want to speak for the place you used to work for, but it sounds like it was like a turn and burn, like, let's get our shit done today, whatever. Like, how often was your owner or management coming out and being like, hey, what did you fucking listen to any new bands yesterday? Because like, my fucking Spotify is like dry. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I go out and I'll just be like, talk about something, like, and I do that because I just genuinely want to make sure everyone's like having a good day. But I'm finding out that doing that is making morale like so much better, because we're all just on the same page. And I feel like people get in the back of their mind of like, am I doing a good job? Like, do I even like it here? Whatever. And it's like important to know that like, we're all just kind of friendly people in the same space.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that like what you said is kind of like what I said, like with the hearing people, but like being seen too is huge. Like, I didn't know that I was a top performer, or like my errors were like below 0.01% or something, until I went and asked, because I was like, am I doing okay? Because I like a benchmark. I am just like I said, like, I'm competitive. I like numbers.
It's like a video game.
Yeah, I literally told them that. I'm like, I want to beat my high score. Okay, so how good was I last month? I'm trying to beat that this month, kind of thing. But like, they don't tell you when you're doing good, or they didn't tell you when you're doing good. They only told you when you were doing bad. And as far as like owners and stuff, I never saw them. I worked there for 2 years. I don't think I did. I don't know the names of the people that owned the company. But people like coming out and talking chit chat now, just the operators with each other and only on our breaks. By the end, we weren't allowed to listen to music. We weren't allowed to wear tank tops. Like in the summer, it was not temperature controlled. And like our summers get really hot and our winters get really cold. Like we were told, you know, we just like kept getting things like taken away with nothing like a, hey, I know this sucks, but at least you get to, like, there was nothing like that. And we always, like, we had this running joke. This is terrible. We had this running joke. Like we would call each other by our machine numbers because like, that's how we were viewed. Like it was that bad.
Like you're C34, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yep. Yeah, like it was bad, but like it's an extreme case. Like it was a huge company that had a lot of facilities. So
I mean,
like a mom and pop shop.
That's the thing was I get that to a degree because it's the scale. There's no way for that owner to walk around and high five and hang out with every employee. Like I get that to a certain degree, which is why, again, back to me and Andy always say 2 or 10 presses. You know what I mean? Like, were you happier at 2 presses or are you happier at 10 presses? I feel like to a certain degree, it's just a money making machine. It's not your passion project. It's not your.
But also, I think that if it does scale that large, it doesn't have to be the owner that walks around. It could be there's somebody else could be the cheerleader and the support.
Yeah.
It could be, you know, an expediter or a manager in that department, you know, that their job is to make sure just to check in with everyone and make sure and acknowledge also when something's going well, you know. And so I think that the Mad Men quote that, you know, you mentioned also that I think Mad Men was supposed to have taken place in like the 50s or something, you know, when like I think they drank in their office and smoked in their office and also like, I don't know, we're rude to women, you know, and like this is a whole different era. And so I think that,
I mean, I'm not necessarily saying it's like that. Like, I'm just saying the mentality in general of like, you were hired. Like if we take out the human factor of things, and I think that all the time, even now, it's like, let me say this in the nicest way possible. It's like, there's certain things like even me that I do in this company, and me and Andy, we do this the same. We travel a lot. Like we know we're in a position in our company where it's like, I want to go to ThreadX or I want to do this other thing or whatever. There are certain employees that see you doing things like that. And they're like, that's not fair. He's always just off fucking around. He's like not working, doing this. Well, when I hear stuff like that from certain people that are like, oh, so-and-so was pissed that you were on vacation this week or something. I'm like, did I not hire you to do this one task and you get a paycheck every week to do that task? What does that have anything to do with me doing my thing? You know what I mean? So like, that's where that mentality comes back to me again. And it's like, why are you mad at me? Like, I'm literally paying you to do what I asked you to do. Yeah. You should stay in your fucking lane and just worry about your shit. You know what I mean?
I think that also depends on the individual because like you said, like, and what I said too, like some people need the verbal pat on the back. Like they need to be told, hey, you're doing a good job. Other people are like, let me just do my job. I just want to do my job. I don't need like the check-ins and stuff. Right. So I feel like in a smaller shop, it's easier to kind of just go from person to person and figure that out. If not, just blatantly ask them, like either in the interview process or like in like as they're working there for a while. It's like, hey, do you want to see me more? Like, or do you want me to just leave you alone so you can do your job, kind of thing. But yeah, I feel like on an individual basis, I think you could just kind of figure it out.
I do back to the original thing though. I do feel like the, you know, checking in and having personal relationships with these people and this and kind of like looking at the work-life balance thing of like, okay, like, is this a place where they want to come from 9 to 5? They feel happy here. They feel supported. They feel like they have community, and then they get to leave at 5 o'clock and they feel like I could do this for 20 years. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, I do this for 3 years until I get fucking bored of it and I can't wait to leave and go somewhere else. So that was what my thing is. Like, I think what I'm doing now is working. It's just, it's going to take a while to figure out if that is true or not, I guess.
Before you go to the next thing, I have thoughts on this, and I would sort of say to that person that was, I guess, criticizing your vacation, or if that's what it was even, because ThreadX and other things aren't vacation. I would say, here's the thing, you know, it's rare I stop working. I'm always thinking about this place. When you own your business, when you own a business, it's really hard to not think about that business. You have to like try to not think about that business. Mm-hmm. And so if I'm not at the business, I'm usually thinking about the business. Even if I'm on a beach, like I still sometimes think about, even if it's for a month, I'm still thinking about this business. And I hope they don't have like cell service on the beach or something where I can check my email, because I will. Unfortunately, I try to put my phone down and say, okay, look, I'm not touching it for 3 hours or whatever it is. But, and when I'm at those places, and when I'm in Long Beach, or if I'm in Atlantic City, or if I go to, like you said, Print Hustlers or anything like that, I'm trying to improve myself as a person and as a shop owner. And I'm trying to bring back, when I travel, I'm trying to bring back ideas. I might have eaten out at a restaurant when I'm gone, and I saw something they did there, then I'm like, man, I should just do that here. Like if I did that thing here, that would be really cool. That's dope. Even though it's a restaurant and it's not. The truth of
that is, it does help that when you do go to something like this, you do bring back more knowledge, or you have an idea, or you change something, because then they see that and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, like we wouldn't have gotten this client if he wouldn't have gone on this trip, or we wouldn't have done this thing. But that's not always the case. I'm just saying that like it instantly fills me with guilt, because I feel like, should I be taking these trips? Should I do this thing? Whatever. But then I'm like, I've been doing this shit for 17 years. Like,
that wasn't the other part I was going to say. Is that
I'm in a spot now where I can enjoy a little bit of it. I
literally worked my back off, or my ass off, because I had back surgery, because I mean, it's because I'm older now too, but I also like worked constantly, like every single day. Like when we first opened here, we were open every single day. We weren't closed on the weekends. I was open, and not just during the day. Like at night, we'd lock the doors, but I'd stay here. And
Brittany was talking about working her hands off a little while ago.
Yeah. I don't know.
There was one time I walked into my old job and I had a knee brace on, an elbow brace on, and a hand brace on. Like it was so bad. I just walked in basically limping, but I was there.
Hey, you were the top producer. Remember? That's what it takes.
It was all worth it in the end.
Yeah. Battle scars.
Dylan, you know the truth, and you know what time you put in. And I think if you do take some time off and then you go to Disney World or whatever it is, even if you're not looking at your phone and working, you deserve it, because you put it on the line. You risked it all.
I went to Disney World that one time and left my family to do a shirt show with you in the hotel room.
That's love.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just we can leave this topic, but it's just one of those things that I think that it's, not to sound pessimistic, but it's just like you can't win on either aspects. I feel like there's always some battle of some kind with the human aspect of owning a business. You can't win them all. You can't make everybody happy. You do your best, and I think we're all just trying to do our best.
Just trying our best.
Yeah.
Hey, so I was using this app the other day, and something happened while using it, and I've got to share this. So I didn't, this is a free app.
Is it Grindr?
No, it's a free app, but it wants you to
it's free.
Upgrade. Dylan, can I tell a story?
Sure. Go ahead.
Never mind. Here, we'll just move on.
Okay. No, don't do that.
I want to hear about the app.
Yeah. Tell us about it.
It's a free app, and it asks you if you want to upgrade. It's like one of those, like it's free until, and then you have limited use, and then, you want to upgrade. And when it asked me this, it said, these were my options. It said, sign up or give up. Not yes or no, like I don't want this app or anything. So it was like, sign up and give up. I was like, I don't want to give up. What do you mean? So I didn't want to press the give up part. And so I was like, but I don't want to sign up. Like, I don't want to sign up for this. And so I pressed fucking give up, and I never give up. Like, that's one of my things. I'm not giving up. And I had to press give up. And so I thought, like, wouldn't that be funny if that's what we did when, like, we were quoting people and stuff, like for our business?
I've gotten emails like that before that are like, well, I guess you want to give up and you don't care about the growth of your company or whatever. And it's like, fuck you, dude.
No.
Oh, it's kind of effective though. I kind of like it.
Oh, it definitely is. Like if someone you send a quote to and they just don't respond or whatever, you should be like, well, I guess you're giving up on your dreams.
Oh, so you're a quitter.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, all
Got
right. I
it.
get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good luck with that.
Try that and see what happens.
I'm gonna write that down. Got it.
So you're saying
Quitter
it's
auto
smart.
email.
This is a
Yeah,
smart
you'd be like,
marketing tactic.
you'd be
I
like,
got
well,
it.
I really thought you were a go-getter, like you were a winner, but I guess you really want to give up. So
No, you're a loser, and that's fine. That's
yeah, I
fine.
mean, it's
You're a loser,
cool.
and
Like
that's okay.
hey, we'll
Whatever.
catch you on the next one, but
You do
For sure.
you.
Maybe.
you do you, but
Yeah.
in my mind, you're a fucking quitter. So
Okay. Well,
I
we
like
solved
it.
that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we tackled your career as an all-time ultimate performer at your last job,
That's
and
me.
now you were like, hey, let's fucking do this solo.
Let's risk it all.
Let's
Yeah.
risk it all. Were you ready for that? Were you like, I have equipment, I'm gonna buy used equipment and start a thing, get a space? What happened?
So literally the day that we were told we were laid off, that's when like the first thought, because it was a lot of emotions, and I was just like, basically my thought was just screw big corporate screen printing companies. Sorry. Like that was my first thought, was like just the corporate aspect of it. I was like, whatever. I was like, so I want to either support another small shop and go work for them and like help them with their stuff, or now's the time kind of thing. So the first thought was, what are they going to do with all this equipment? Like, are they going to take it to their other shops? Are they going to sell it? Are they going to auction it? Like, what's happening with that? And then like from there, it was just, if I can find a space, I'm going to do it. Like, that's kind of like what happened. It was like, if this, then okay. Like, it was like constantly kind of almost like giving myself an out because it's scary, but also like, but if this happens, I'm absolutely going to do it. Like, so I found this space and it was near my hometown. So I was able to like move back to a place that I knew, and I already have connections here. And the rent was stupid cheap. Utilities are included. Like, it was just like, as soon as I opened the door, I was like, okay, I'm doing this. Like, I didn't have equipment at that point. I didn't have anything. I just needed space first.
Did the last place not offer you or think that you could buy their used equipment? Like, it all just went to auction?
I asked them if I could buy some of it, and they told me I had to participate in the auction. Yeah. And when that happened, it was like getting bought up like too fast, and people were paying too much money for it. And I had to pay like a $500 deposit to just even participate in it, which I guess like technically would go back. I don't know. But at that point it was no, like I wasn't able to. It didn't align
with you at that time.
Yeah. Like there was still too much up in the air that it was like, I can't spend thousands of dollars on equipment that I can't even move right now. But they did at one point say I could have my old press. And then the day before the auction, they were like, just kidding, we're going to sell it. And I was like, oh, that's okay, whatever. But
that's a nail in the coffin.
Then it was. I told the guy, he was one of the corporate people. Thankfully, he told me to my face, and I told him I was disappointed in him.
That's the worst. That's like, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
I know. I was like, I'm really disappointed, but okay. Like,
my favorite thing is to say that I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. But also my favorite thing is in traffic or something, when someone cuts you off or whatever, people's go-to is to flip the bird. It's way more degrading to give them a thumbs up. Like, if you're just like, hey, yeah, great job.
Good job,
you're
buddy.
Succeeding at life. So that's what you should have done. You should have just Fonzied him and then been like, I'm really disappointed in you, and walked away.
Cool.
So you got your space, but had no equipment.
Yeah, I got my space with like a plan to move into it. So like I had a month of like I think it was like 3 weeks before I signed the lease. And then like in that 3 weeks, it was like go time, basically. So the one cool thing though, is everybody that participated in the auction and then chose not to pick up their stuff, I had the option then to get rid of it to my shop. So a bunch of people, actually, I'm super nosy. And so like in the Shirt Show Discord, I looked up the old company name, and a bunch of people participated in that auction. So I was like, oh, I probably met like most of the people. I probably helped load your trucks. Like it was pretty cool. But everybody that didn't pick up their stuff, thanks so much. Some of it's here. Just people that said like they called and they were like, hey, yeah, I'm like not going to take that. And I'm like, cool, thanks. So I have a couple of screen racks. couple boards, carts and stuff from that. But I did like one of the big Ryonet packages because I like getting new stuff. Like if I'm going to do something, I'm one of those people that like wants to do it right from the beginning. Not right, but you know what I mean? Like
you want a fresh start.
I want a fresh start. Exactly.
You don't want somebody else's mistakes. And
yeah, because that's what I worked on. Like with all my screen printing experience was old presses and hand-me-down presses, and it's fine. And it made it work as everybody has to. But I was like, this is going to be my shop. I want this to be my press. That like, I'm the only one that's ever worked on it.
What package did you end up getting? What press was it?
It was a 6-head 4-station one. I think it's 300, whatever they're.
Right.
Manual
the Riley
press,
300.
Yeah. So I got like the washout booth and the exposure unit and the belt dryer and a bunch of chemicals and like that. Like I forget the package name, but one of the big ones.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So the real question is, are you happy?
Am I happy? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am. Are you happy?
I am. I'm in my screen printing paradise. So
yeah, me too.
I'm hoping you're in yours as well.
I am. I love it. Like obviously there's been challenges and January was brutal. So slow, but then I got like this huge job. And for me, like this was like a life raft. Like this 600 piece order is like I could like breathe in and be like, okay, everything's going to be fine for a little bit. But
what was that 600 piece order? Was it multiple locations or was it
front and back? But it's for like a big event here for hunters.
That's awesome.
It's called Beast Feast. Yeah.
Sounds like a place I need to go to. You're not that far away.
Yeah. I mean, they're probably still selling tickets if you want. You can have one of my shirts.
Go down to Beast Feast in Pennsylvania.
Beast Feast, yeah.
Andy, I cut you off. What were you going to say?
I was like, isn't it the best feeling when, you get that sort of order? And that was the biggest order you've ever gotten. Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
So for the first time, you just feel like, oh, okay, this is cool. Like it's like it puts food on the table or pays the bills, really, is what it's doing. You said it was a life raft. Yeah. It really is,
Mm-hmm.
It's a great feeling.
It is. Yeah. It's great.
The other part of that feeling though, too, is like when you get too big for your britches and you try to get a like whale of a client and you actually land it and you're like, oh, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do I produce this?
Oh, no. Yeah.
Yeah. I've told this story on here before, but me and Chris, and we were back in the fucking like 1-car garage shop. We had a 4-color 2-station silver press and a small M&R dryer. And we went and had a meeting with the New York Mets to try to get their shirts to the ones that they throw out in the stadium. Like, on Sunday, everyone who shows up gets a shirt kind of shit. And we landed it. And we were like, this was fun, but how the fuck are we going to print these shirts? Yeah. And luckily they were having like a hard financial year that year and like didn't do any of the extras. And then the guy, like, this is one of those moments where I feel like it was life-changing as a company and as a, like, to do the experience of what we had to do to get that order and like have the meeting and everything. But then someone above was looking at us and being like, you're not ready for this shit yet. Made the Mets have a bad year or something. And then just like, they never ordered, but like, and then the guy, the head of procurement there, ended up moving to like another company, and like he was our connection that would have given us more orders. So it didn't end up working out, but it was one of those things where literally when we left the city to come home, we were like, holy fuck, like how we don't have the place. We don't have the space for 10 boxes in where we print.
Yeah.
How are we going to do pallets and pallets and pallets? Yeah, we would have figured it out. I'm sure. I mean, even back then, I don't even know if I would have thought to outsource it. Like we probably just would have put it in a container and just printed nonstop 24/7 until it was done.
Yeah. Yep.
But it's one of those things like, how far do you reach? You know what I mean? Like you got a 600 piece order, which is a big order to print manually by yourself.
Yeah.
Like, are you literally like printing a box, going to the end of the dryer, folding those shirts, printing a box, going to the end of the dryer, folding those shirts?
Yeah, so I have them laid out right now. I'm looking at them, but like they're laid out right now by size so that I don't have to like sort them after, of course. But like I used to do these kind of jobs on the manual at the old company and like on the auto and stuff. So like, thankfully, I kind of like mentally, I know like what's going to happen, but like physically, I don't know what's going to happen like with my setup. But yeah, one at a time, fold them at the end, like just keep trucking. But
I
if
feel
I
like
need to,
after years of doing printing and all that stuff, like, and even in the beginning, the way we used to do things where the printer would be in charge of his own job, like back when we had like 4 manuals, it was like, there was obviously one printer per press, but like he was basically printing the shirts, running them through the dryer. When the job was done, they were falling into a box, and then they would pick up the box, go to a table, dump them out, and then sit there every shirt, grab a shirt, look at the size tag, lay it in the small pile, grab a shirt, look at the size tag, lay it in the medium pile. And it's like, you don't think about that part. You're like, oh, I can print these and this is the rate. But then at the end, you're like, fuck, I have like a pile of laundry I have to sort by size.
No, yeah, because I mean, I've had like decently sized jobs, like nothing to like 600 pieces here yet, but I've had like, like 100, 150, like whatever. And that's what I found that works for me is just stop when the size stops and then
do all the
them like
smalls,
from there.
do all the mediums. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Were you doing that, Andy, when you were in your garage? Were you like going back and folding everything afterwards yourself?
Sometimes I guess, but I had my wife helped me then. So
you just had her at the end of the dryer?
Usually. And so like what, I guess what I would do would be set up the job and was ready to go and everything. Then go grab her, you know what I mean? And say, hey, I'm going to run these. But of course there were times at night and stuff that I did exactly what she just said, stack them by size and then run them down the dryer and then go pick them out of the box, You hate to let them sit there too long because then they get wrinkled up and looks like crap,
Yeah.
Or the dryer's too hot and the ink sticks together and then all the shirts are ruined. Or you forget that, or the pilot goes out. We used to have an old dryer where like the gas would shut off every so often, and we'd run all the shirts through and find out they're all wet in a pile at the end of the dryer.
That happened to me at the old company, and that was the worst. I was running like a 7 color, and I was sending them down. And then I went down to check on it. This is when I was a lead and an operator. And like, I went down and I asked her, I'm like, they're all good. And she said, yeah, there's green stuff on them though. And I'm like, green, that's ink. I was like, what do you mean? And like, it was like probably like 80, 90 shirts. Like, and she said, there's green stuff on them. And it was just all, the dryer had turned off. So it was running, but like the heat, it wasn't hot. So
yeah,
that was one of those, like, you have to walk outside and breathe for a second before you come back in.
Brittany, you talk about being competitive. I used to make this into a game where, like if you have a revolver mode, spinning twice, let's say, job, you would load your last shirt and then run to the end of the dryer and then catch the first one, you know what I mean, that was coming down and trying to
so they never hit the bucket.
So they never hit, and they never dropped in the box. You would stack all those and then try to make it back to press to load in again or start off loading and loading again when you're by yourself. And you can pull it off if you have that all delayed and timed right. You know what I mean? And you can
we've done that where you hear at the last revolution, it does that beep.
Yeah.
So like fucking run back to the press because you got to be back there to load the shirt.
Yep. That's fun. Makes it fun,
Oh, that's great. I love that.
So what's next for you? I know you're kind of fresh to doing this on your own, but like, what's your next move? Are you planning on just riding it out like this as long as possible? Or are you like ambitious to be like, I know what I want. I'm going to print. I'm going to hire someone to do sales and figure all this stuff out. Are you just like cool where you're at right now? And like, I just want to do this.
I'm kind of cool with where I'm at right now. I'm not like crazy ambitious when it comes to like business. Like I don't want to, I don't want to say don't want to, but it's like, it's not my dream to have like a huge, massive shop. Like that's not me. Like I want to be able to enjoy it. And I like my little life kind of thing. Like I want to provide, but I don't want to ever get to the point where I'm like, this sounds cheesy, but like, I don't want to get to the point where I'm like trying to remember people's names or like,
Yeah. I'm not necessarily saying that. I mean, more along the sense of I feel like it's less stress when you're like I know when I walk in today, I can focus on like just printing t-shirts. I don't have to like print some, answer the phone, clean some screens, or, oh, fuck, I got to print a 7 color today. I got to wash this many screens, just enough to where I have to print this job. And then you code them and then the screen blows out and you're like, oh, I got to go clean one screen to code it. It's just, you know what I mean? It's that life of like being a solo printer.
Yeah.
Where,
but
if you're happy
you are
doing
describing my day to day, but
yeah,
it is that's pretty much what happens. But right now I'm content right now. Like I eventually someday want to do embroidery, but like that's just because I want to learn something new. But that's down the line. But I do have the space for it. So that's one thing I love about this place is like if and when there is space for me to grow a little bit. But yeah, right. Would love someone to answer the phones, honestly. If anything, that's what I would want.
Yeah, that's
just someone. Yeah. But I like being hands-on, so I don't want to give up that anytime soon. But
I don't know if you've heard of this yet, or I'm sure you have if you're in the Discord, but we have a segment now on the show where we want to ask a question to Screen Print GPT.
Yeah.
Do you have a question that you would like answered about screen printing that we can ask it?
Oh no, I should.
And I'm putting you on the spot, but is there anything?
No. I totally should.
Anything currently that you're like questioning or debating? Because like even me, like there's things where I'm like, I wonder if there's a better way to do this, or if there's something we're having an issue with. What is happening? Andy, do you have anything? I'm not going to put it all on you. The collective here can come up with a thing.
Okay, cool.
We have some garment dyes going right now, some comfort colors, and we printed our typical low bleed every day on it, and we tested it, and we came back in the morning, and it did look like it post bled a little bit, and so we switched to both whites poly, poly in both screens, and so I was kind of curious if we asked it like best white ink choice for garment dyed tees if it knew. Can we try it?
Sure.
Here you go.
Best white ink choice. Yeah. Let's see what it knows. There it is.
All right. It says, when choosing the best white for garment dyed tees, it's important to select an ink that offers high opacity to ensure good coverage over the dyed fabric, as well as that provides good bleed resistance to prevent the dye from the garment from migrating into the ink. For garment dyed tees, particularly those made from cotton or cotton blends, a white formulated with bleed resistance properties is ideal, which is technically what you did. Is you did a low bleed white?
The first one was a low bleed, and it didn't, like on this particular color. So it works a lot of time. You know how comfort colors, you never know. Like some work fine and some don't. Well, our low bleed didn't work, and so we had to move to a poly, like a higher bleed resistant white.
Well, the next paragraph says, one commonly recommended type of white ink for garment dyed tees is a high opacity, low bleed plastisol ink. These inks are specifically designed to block dye migration and are suitable for printing on dyed garments where dye migration is a concern, such as with darker colored or heavily garment dyed fabrics. I'm going to skip ahead here just so I'm not just reading a ton.
Sure.
It's also beneficial to choose an ink that cures at a lower temperature if possible, as high curing temperature can exacerbate dyed migration issues. Additionally, inks that are formulated to work well with a variety of fabrics, including cotton, polyester, and cotton poly blends, offer versatility if you're working with garment dyed tees made from different material and compositions. So it's basically just telling you to watch your temperature, check the dyes, and make sure you're using the right ink for the job.
Yeah, we considered using a barrier, but with this print, they wanted it soft, as possible anyway. And the barrier sometimes adds a thickness that we didn't, that you don't want on, or like a soft, or makes, what I'm saying, makes it bulletproof. Yeah. And so, and we've had it where you'll be running mediums, let's say, and then the larges bleed. You know what I mean?
Because one size. Yeah. Because it was dyed differently, or it was in a different dye house or something.
So I don't know. We went with both polys for both, the underbase and the top white. So
we generally say that if anything is something like that kind of shirt, Comfort Colors is on the fence because most of the time for us it's black, but we usually go more towards towards the side of using poly inks just to be sure. Or at the very least, make sure that we're laying them out to cool at the end of the dryer before they get stacked.
Yeah, we also lowered our dryer temp 10 and we measured at the end, you know, because you air a little high. Typically you air on the high side to make sure it's cured. But we cut it close and just backed it down a little bit.
Yeah, we usually do that with like tie dyes.
Mm-hmm.
Because we always have an issue with that.
Yeah, you don't want it to gas out. I think it's like a 3, whatever.
It's always like one color in the tie dye just shows through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go, Chat GPT.
So you mentioned that you use the
print,
Discord, screenprintgpt.com.
Yeah.
You use the Discord. How's the community in there? Are you feeling like it's a good place to hang out and learn about things and share ideas?
I think I'm a lurker. I don't like message in there very much. I'll throw reactions onto things. Like when someone posts something pretty, like I'll like be like, wow. But like other than that, like I just absorb the knowledge mostly. I don't have very many things to say.
She goes on there.
No, I don't troll.
She's that person. She's that person who's in the group but doesn't contribute.
Yeah, that's me.
I get it.
Not toxic or anything.
Yeah. Do you have multiple Discords?
Well, I have one Discord account, but I use Discord for a ton of things. Like I'm in a whole bunch of different communities. But I mean, I used it for like professional things too, but mostly like, gym community. I just have like friends that I've met that we have a Discord. I used it. I did like a little stint as a board game developer, and I made a Discord for playtesting. So like I had it like all organized for like getting people together to play games and stuff. Yeah. But
that's awesome. So did one of your board games get made?
Well, so I was a playtester first for this company, just casually, like they needed playtesters and I'm a board game nerd. So I was like, but then they hired me on because they liked my feedback and they wanted me to be a developer on it. So that one's out. It did really well on Kickstarter, actually, but it's fun.
That's funny. A friend of mine, well, 2 friends of mine have a company called Bright Light Media. They've been customers of mine for a long time. And they decided at one point, because they're both really amazing, like artistic people, and they have the drive, whatever. And they made a board game. It was like a horror board game. And when they first came out with it, they worked on it really hard. They did a lot of, like focus groups to see what they thought, whatever. And then they did the Kickstarter thing and it exploded. Like it was massive. And
do you remember the name of it?
Yeah, it's now I'm blanking on it. And I can't look at my phone either because it's my camera. Okay. I'll try to remember it. I'll tell you later. Okay. But yeah, it's one of those things like now they keep making like expansion packs. And they have a new one and they have another one now. I think it's called Float, where it's like, it has to do with like sharks and like the ocean and pirates and all this other stuff. Oh, cool. But I think it's really cool to like get into that world. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm.
It's huge. Like and it had like a resurgence over the last couple of years. And yeah, it's like a massive space to be in, which makes it hard to like have success, but that's really cool that they did.
Yeah. Even if it worked out really good. A couple of people,
yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any questions for us, or is there anything you want to touch on or talk about?
You might have already answered it, but what is something that you guys did, either starting your business or a specific job or anything, that makes you still cringe inside when you think about it? If anything, maybe you don't have anything, but
with business or just like something we printed?
Yeah, either.
Oh God, I have so many of those.
Okay. What's the first one that came into your brain?
Well, Andy always yells at me for being sole proprietor for so long. That kind of hurt my feelings.
Mine was I bedazzled some stuff. All right. Like rhinestone, whatever it's called. You had the gemstone things.
Bedazzle's good.
Like I had a customer that was printing for. They, hey, can you make us this thing where it's, and actually you could order it from like Stalls or something like that. And then he pressed the rhinestones on there, So yeah, we did some of that stuff. And I was like, I hated doing it. It took so long too. So yeah, I don't like that. That would be. I don't
know if I have a specific one with this, but the early on stuff that really upset me was when a customer would call and say that like all the ink fell off, or like they wash the shirts and all their customers are coming back saying that like, hey, you know, like half the design's gone after a wash or something. Because back then in the beginning, it was like used equipment. We had a fucking dryer we bought out of some dude's barn, and like I put 2 dryers together to make one good dryer. And again, like you're in a room without ventilation, and you're just kind of like, there's no heat either. In the wintertime, we like turned on like a kerosene heater in the room, which we probably all got black lung from. And it's like, you do what you can. And again, you're trying to like act like you're in this like big print facility, and they think you're just whatever online. And really it's like 3 dudes in a garage listening to fucking hardcore and printing t-shirts. And then they call and they're like, hey, like I took a chance on you and basically you ate it hard. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Right. I feel like that's the worst. But yeah, there's a lot of things where I'm just like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that.
Yeah.
If I'm completely honest and super vulnerable, the first couple of years, and I say first couple of years, probably all the way up to like 5 years, is when you are trying to be optimistic and you think your company's doing well, but you don't have enough money in your bank account. And when your friends work for you and they cash their paycheck and it bounces, that's the best. That's soul crushing. When they come to you and you're like, hey, my check bounced. And you have to be like, yeah, I don't have enough money to pay you. So if you could not cash that again, that would be great. Yeah. There was a time when I had an extra truck and I sold it just to put money in the bank to cover payroll.
Yeah. I think that's one of the reasons too. Like when I say like I'm content with where I'm at, it's also safe. Like it feels safer to not have people relying on me, if I'm being totally honest, because I have had people be like, hey, like when you're hiring, let me know, like either like old coworkers or other people that are in the industry that I know. And it's just like, oh, like just like that little twist in your stomach. It's like, but what if
it's like, the worst? It is literally soul crushing.
Yeah, that's like my worst nightmare. So yeah. Ooh.
It's when you're doing the fake it till you make it, and then you get caught faking it. Yeah. It's the worst. I mean, now it's great. Like everything, like I learned hard. I read a lot of things about money. I got my shit in order. I'm really good with it now. I'm happy where I'm at. But like there was a time where I was robbing Peter to pay Paul constantly. I was taking an order, spending that money, and then hoping that the next order would pay for that order. And it's just like, can't do that, dude. You gotta fucking like take care of shit first. And then the money you have left over is money you can use for things. Yeah. So that would be my biggest cringe, I think.
Yeah. The biggest of all. I feel that.
We have a very important question. What's for dinner?
Today, probably ground beef, rice, and a vegetable. Boring, but yeah.
That sounds like a person that's into fitness. Like that.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
That's the bodybuilder type.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that for a second?
Sure.
Okay. Me and Andy are in this group where we're trying to like be better or whatever, close our rings and all this other stuff. I am not a big like, oh, I'm going to go work out, but I walk a shitload. Like I walk a ton. I'm trying really hard to eat better. And then obviously like Instagram is my go-to social media. And I am bombarded now with like fitness people and all this other shit. And it's like, some of it is like nice to see or whatever, but I hate like people who are like, I was literally thinking this today. Like there's people that are like, I used to weigh 300 pounds and now I weigh 180 pounds. And I quit my job and now I'm a fitness coach, whatever, just on social media. And it's like, dude, like just because you lost the weight does not mean you have the qualifications to tell me how to like be whatever. And then it's funny you said ground beef, and so like I like to cook too, so I have a lot of food stuff in there, and there's a lot of like fitness people that are just like, I can't cook, I don't know what to make, so for breakfast I have like ground beef and like something else, and I'm like, I couldn't imagine just eating like straight ground beef and something. And you just said that's what you're eating, and I'm like,
for dinner though, it's not right now. It's not breakfast, and it's flavored. It has seasoning to it. It's not just like
straight ground beef and white rice.
Raw, no. I was listening to the one episode, and you were talking about drinking muscle milk.
Yeah.
and it tastes like metal.
Yeah.
Can I give you a suggestion? Are you
Sure.
open to a suggestion?
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. Get rid of muscle milk, trash.
I have.
Personally opinion.
I do Fairlife now.
Okay, that's what I was good. Do you do the Core Power ones, the 42 grams, the protein?
No, it's the 30-gram one.
Okay, you can, if you want more protein, the Fairlife Core Power chocolate, 42 grams protein. It is just chocolate milk. It tastes so good.
That's basically what the 30-gram one is, chocolate milk. But I didn't get the other one because I read the back of it. I was like, well, what's the difference between this one and this one? And it was more like whatever, like post workout, like it's better for that, I guess. And I was like, I don't fucking work out. I just like, I just basically what I want to do, and this is going to go off the rails, but like my thoughts were with the amount of walking I do, what I should do to be healthier is to do like the intermittent fasting. But my biggest problem with that is my favorite fucking meal of the day is breakfast.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
So that's why I'm like, I can't do it. But Andy talked me into the shakes. And so now what I'm trying to do is a couple days a week, have one of those protein shakes for lunch. And then I'll just kind of like eat a bigger dinner later. So what's your take on that?
My take is I don't like anything that tells you when to eat. I don't like restrictive stuff because it's not sustainable. Like I would never be able to skip breakfast for the rest of my life. So like if you do a diet, you have to look at it like I have to do this every day for the rest
well, that's how I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
Sure.
So like to switch to a protein shake instead of lunch, I would maybe instead do like a protein. What I do is an overnight oats every single morning. So it's basically a protein shake. Yeah. So I'll put in like a serving and a half of protein, which is 40 grams about of protein. And then like I'll mash up like a banana in there, put the protein powder, water, a little bit of oat milk, and then oats. And that fills me up until lunch. And that's after working out. So I'll go over and lift like 4 or 5 days a week and then have that. And I'm good until lunch. And then like for lunch, I'll do a protein, a vegetable, and rice sometimes, but normally at least like chicken and a vegetable. Yeah. And then for dinner, same thing, protein, vegetable. And I'm rice. I'm not simple.
I'm not skipping lunch because I'm trying to like, oh, I can't eat this meal. It's going to make me better. Like genuinely, most of the time, I don't even care about lunch. Like I'm in the zone working, I'm doing what I'm doing. And I feel like a lot of times it's a burden to look at and it's like, oh, it's noon. What the fuck am I going to eat today? Where am I going to go? What am I going to get? Like I would almost rather go to the fridge, grab the protein thing, just chug it and go back to working.
Yeah. And like, as long as you're eating something, like I don't like intermittent fasting at all, but like, again, that's like a personal thing, but as long as you're eating something and if it has like 30 grams of protein or whatever, like that's great. As long as you're, like you said, like having like a good breakfast or like a dinner, just making sure
it's not necessarily good. It's just, it's breakfast. You know what I mean? Like
something. Okay. Yeah,
my guilty pleasure is like a breakfast sandwich. So like, I'm trying so hard to find like a good breakfast sandwich and again, like people always send me shit where it's like, oh, you could make this like high protein, fucking whatever, low fat cheese, this, make 30 of them, put them in your freezer. That's not the same as getting a sausage, egg and cheese McMuffin at McDonald's. Like, I mean, I don't care what you say. Wrong. Like, it's so nice for me to drop my kids off in the morning, go for a hike, stop and grab a McDonald's breakfast sandwich and an iced tea and come to work. Yeah. Like, and that's like, my goal morning.
Do you feel like it's also just the routine of it too? Like you just like the routine? Like
it's the routine. It's easy. It's also like, I mean, living in Pennsylvania, like it's fucking 10 degrees outside. Like I want like a hot breakfast sandwich. I don't want to eat cold oats.
It is something. And I drink them, which is gross for some people, but to me it's nice. Like I put in a little shaker bottle. But to me, like now it's so rooted in my routine that I don't even think about it. Like it's just like, I'm gonna have my oats now.
I'm just the kind of human being where like food is exciting and fun and like the spice of life for me. There's one of my best friend Chris, like he's the kind of person who thinks like food is fuel. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't care what it is. It's sustenance. It's just like, I need this a thing. And I'm like, no, dude, like if I'm going out, Andy knows, like if I'm going out to eat, I'm getting the tomahawk and the baked potato and the whatever, like. But
like, see, that is like a well-rounded meal, honestly. Like, I mean, if you throw in some broccoli, but if you don't, whatever. But like that, like a pure source of protein like that is great. Like no notes.
And it's a lot. Like, it's when I get the meat sweats.
Yeah, the dreaded meat sweats. I feel that.
Well, hey, we really appreciate you coming on and doing this with us, Brittany.
Yeah,
I'm stoked that you're stoked on printing and that you're going to grow and do what you're going to do. So I hope you stay in touch and we can, we can talk more about this. I appreciate it.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Well, thanks. Have a good day.
All right, you too.
Later.
Bye.